Et tu sais que t'es marié avec un héros?
Ah ouais?
Monsieur.
J'avais pas été là, il y passait le mec, hein.
C'est vrai! Ah!
Ah, France. Such a romantic place. All the mobsters, gangs, thugs, corruption.
You know, I'm proud of France for like moving on and having like a more interesting, like, you know, school of film with action movies and a lot of crazy shit coming out. But isn't this hurting their tourist business a bit?
Well, it was all downhill after American Werewolf in Paris.
I just feel like if I go, I want to go to the part where Owen Wilson gets transported back to the 1920s and not where my pregnant wife is kidnapped to make me go do some fucked up shit.
This is the realistic part of Midnight in Paris. Because Midnight in Paris is a Woody Allen movie that makes you think like, oh, what a romantic place. No, this movie's like, fuck all that. This is dangerous, okay?
See, that would have been interesting at the end of that. He's like, I love Paris. And then there's a bullet bloom in his forehead.
Yeah. In Midnight in Paris, you know, Owen Wilson, he wanders the streets at night and is magically transported to a time past that he believes is much better than his own, where in real life he would have wandered into an alley and got mugged or shot or raped.
By the cops, no
By the cops, probably, yeah.
The real story there is probably that, you know, his wife left him, or his fiance left him, and he's like drunk in a gutter somewhere going, Hemingway, darling.
That's what it was. It was his last dying fantasy before that bullet took him out.
God,
But
I hope that if that ever happens to me and I'm drunken in the gutter, my last hallucination isn't the Great Gatsby.
well, look at it this way: if you are bleeding to death in a gutter somewhere, there's no more romantic place to do it than Paris.
That's true.
That's a wonderful place to die.
If you're going to get mobsters blackmailing you and dragging you along, Paris is where it's got to be done.
Yeah, which is why Point Blank is such a beautiful romantic film.
Oh man, and I love Patrick Swayze. I don't know if you guys. I'm really glad to see this in theaters again.
No, not Point Break.
Yeah.
No, this is the one with Lee Marvin.
Never mind.
That Mel Gibson made a remake of.
No, with Ronald Reagan as the bad guy.
No, this is even I'm starting to get confused now.
Wait, this is not the Lee Marvin point.
No,
Well,
it's
you
not
know
a
what?
not
You
a
can just
remake.
easily be confused because this is a French film. None of us talk the language, and it's subtitled. And it's cool that it's subtitled. That's fine because a lot of people say, "Man, nigga, I don't read shit. You want to go see a subtitled movie? I watch this shit." Yeah, no, it's an action film. You really don't have to read this movie if you choose not to. You're gonna miss some details, but listen, movie starts and it hits the ground running. And at 84 minutes long, it doesn't waste any time. It's a tight film, and a lot of people going to think of that Lee Marvin action movie. What was that, 69 when that movie came out or somewhere around that point?
Great film.
Yeah, great film. And this movie has the same title. And while it's a different movie, it is up to that same great standard of action here. And this, you have a guy named Samuel. Samuel's like, he's a nurse.
He's not even a nurse.
Yeah, no,
he's like an assistant.
Oh, wow.
He's training to be a nurse. Like there's a doctor that comes in to put him in his place and goes like, look, don't forget, you're not a nurse yet.
Wow.
So don't be administering
He's a
medicine.
dude who's not even cool enough to be a nurse.
Exactly.
I know, man,
But this guy
he's
sucks.
extra punkified. Oh, you sissy boy. No, it's
And he's French.
Yeah, right? He's got like 80 strikes against him.
But you know what?
No, what he has on his side is that he's got a really hot Spanish wife.
Oh, yeah.
Who is like 9.5 months. Well, no, she's not 9.5 months pregnant. She's 7.5 months pregnant.
She's ready to drop
But yeah, her
at any
cervix
moment.
is dilating. They tell her right off the bat, you need to be on bed rest.
Yeah, which is too bad because while he's working one night at the hospital, he notices that some guy gets brought in. The guy's had some really bad trauma to, when I say trauma, to us trauma is like, oh, boo, you scared me for a moment, now I got nightmares. No, trauma in medical terms mean you got the fuck knocked out of your head, you got hit by a car or a bus. And
Yeah, that's the thing.
That is the technical term. What happened? Well, he got the fuck knocked out of his head.
Oh, what was the degree?
All of the fuck was knocked from his head.
Is that the degree of fuck? Was it 100% of fuck removal?
100% of the fuck was knocked from his cranial cavity.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
There was fuck all over the wall.
you get brought in and people look at you like, oh, he's all right, and then you press him, it's like, oh shit, his insides are jelly.
Yeah.
So he notices that this guy gets brought in, just says, hey, it's another day at the hospital, whatever, I'm going home to my hot pregnant Spanish wife and everything is fine. Gets to the home after a little bit of romance and they have a nice scene together. Somebody breaks in and they give poor Samuel a little bit of trauma to his head on his own, and he comes to find that his wife is missing. He's bleeding. There's a phone on the floor that gives him a call and says, hey, you know that guy that got brought in last night? You need to get that guy at the hospital. And Samuel's like, that's crazy because whoever that guy is, the police are watching over him. I can't do that. And they're like,
I'm not even a nurse.
yeah, I'm extra sissified. Remember, I can't.
They don't even let me use the vending machine.
The janitor could get him out before I could.
Yeah.
It's like, I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
I know they won't even let me get near needles around here. How the fuck am I supposed to grab him? And they're like, listen, we don't care, but you gonna do it. He's like, oh yeah, and what's gonna make me? Us having your wife, and we're gonna kill her if you don't do it. And he's like, oh yeah, where do I go?
So hell, he's, it could have been like, it's like, oh shit, I don't have to be a dad. he goes out that night, puts on his best French.
I know. They're like, we'll kill your wife. He's like, oh yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat
He's
some
like,
cheese.
Daddy's finding some hoes tonight.
I'm gonna eat some cheese. I'm gonna drink some wine. I'm gonna pick up some French bitches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fine.
I know. Hey, I see a tan line on your finger. Where's your wife? Oh, she dead.
Yeah. What? I didn't kill her.
You know, oh, she died.
What time is it? Oh, that bitch is gone.
No, you know what, Samuel, we're making fun of him, but Samuel loves his wife. I mean, obviously she's making more money than him, so he got to go out. He's got to go out and find this chick. So yeah, now from this point on, it's really to describe anymore. Being that the movie is so short, it would kind of be hard to describe any further without giving away some details, because from this point on, you get a lot of things that happen. You find out the deeper corruption of the story. Alliances are made that you don't see coming beforehand. But what you do get is a story that moves very quickly and really gets faster as it goes along, which is why I love this film.
You know what? Something this movie has, it has a great foot chase through the subway system where Samuel has to run his ass off. Like I'm talking like Tom Cruise level running your ass off. And when he finally gets to a safe spot, I thought, you know what? In real life, a guy would vomit. Oh, he just vomited. Damn.
I do like that. The fact that like this guy is put through his paces and he has to do some crazy action hero stuff, but he always ends up having that human reaction.
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
that anyone that, where you'd go like, oh, but come on. Oh, wait. Yeah, they did do that actually. All
Yeah.
right. I mean, he is suffering like crazy
Absolutely.
just to get through this fucking day. But I like as well that like the guy who he's with is a villain, but at the same
Sure.
time, they end up kind of like, it's not a Stockholm syndrome thing. They're like, they're both on the same side after a while.
It's one of those where you have the villain becomes an anti-hero because the other villains are such bigger assholes.
Yeah.
Samuel,
Cool.
he's there's no way that he can get through this situation without having somebody more experienced, and he's forced to kind of team up with someone who is a gangster. And you're right, they have a common interest in mind, and you get kind of nervous for the guy because you don't know if this guy that he's with can be trusted all the way through. But what you do know, the gangster's name is Hugo, and you begin to like Hugo because Hugo's a smooth motherfucker.
He
man.
is smooth.
Yeah, he's
Not Ryan Gosling smooth.
no, but who can be? Don't you ever dare sully Ryan Gosling's name by saying that. But
Hugo, that piece of shit.
But what?
Hey, Hugo is of some mixed ethnic origin. He's got a big ass, crazy looking afro, and all the criminals love him.
Well, that's the great thing about this film is that it's what we love on a very basic level in an action film like this. It's the everyday man caught up in extraordinary, dangerous circumstances. Imagine if you had North by Northwest, but you didn't have a charismatic guy like Cary Grant in the lead role. You just have a guy who's not very
Cyrus.
big. I said not very big.
I'll take that.
No, a guy who's just an ordinary guy, has no skills, no charisma, just wants to live a quiet life with what